So how can our investors participate in off-market deals? These are deals that are not available to you, the average Joe on the street, that really are only available to real estate professionals. I recently have executed contracts on 4 such deals. For example, I'm buying a building, actually I purchased a building in Green Bay. It's the old United Healthcare property. I purchased it for literally pennies on the dollar. This is a $120 million cost development between the land and the building, and I bought it for $4.5 million. Again, that's not available to the regular Joe on the street. It really is only available to a professional investor and a developer like myself, because one, you got to have the cash, you got to be able to close quickly, you got to understand the property in advance, and you don't have time to do your regular due diligence. So for example, we've been watching that property for well over a year before it became for sale on an auction, and we had done the due diligence proactively, just on our own, without having any contract, in case that property became for sale. We recently got another opportunity from another insurance company selling a big chunk of land, an infill site in Greater Madison. We put that under a contract this past week, in fact, and what's happening now is we're creating a master plan for it. Again, they were looking for a buyer that had the money, is definitely going to close and not retrade the deal, not renegotiate the deal right before closing. They wanted a professional developer who's experienced in closing, isn't going to get all freaked out and worried about some of the little pieces of things on this property, like a holding tank. We're used to dealing with that. There was an old farmstead. We're used to dealing with that. There's a high pressure gas line running down the middle of the property. We know how to deal with that. So they didn't want to go with a rookie, right, who would back out or renegotiate the deal. They wanted somebody who had the experience and who has the confidence to be able to close on this property, frankly, before we have all the approvals in place. And that is a risk that we're going to take, but I think it's an infill site, and therefore it's a site that, the city's going to approve development on. It's certainly not going to sit there as a farm field, which is mostly what it is, plus 3 corporate headquarters buildings, which we're going to tear down. That site is going to change. So we'll get approvals. So the question will be, what would those approvals be in terms of the specifics of the master plan? But, non-professional isn't going to do all that. They're not going to go through a master planning process. They're not going to invest $1 million in the property before we start construction. But that's what it takes to do, and a professional can do that.